and welcome back. So on today's episode, we are here with Jon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So we actually know each other and have known each other for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
You used to be my dad's personal trainer.
I did, yeah, about 20 years ago.
Yeah, so it's been a very long time. I actually do remember watching you guys when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I do remember watching you two training in like the hall and in the lounge.
Your dad was a very different man then. A very different man.
Sure.
Oh, double the size then. Yeah, so it's,
yeah.
you were still at prep school.
Yeah.
No, it's mad.
Yeah.
A lot of time's passed.
Yeah, a lot of time has passed. It has indeed. So anyway, basically, like I said, it's over to you. So if you want to start with a little bit about you.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. It really is, to take your own experiences and speak about them and give people like me and the others out there a voice to actually come and have the confidence to speak out is an amazing thing. So I wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank
I think
you.
it's brilliant. I'm really happy to be here and hopefully share my story. So I'm a personal trainer by trade. I have been, well, as you know, for a very long time, for over 25 years, and I developed in this time a niche and passion for endurance sport. I turned my passion into my business. I loved marathon running, and then doing triathlons, and then into much longer distance, like Ironman triathlon, which is a ridiculously stupid thing to do. But and then again, my business kind of followed suit. So that's what I've been doing. My clients have followed me into my world, which has been incredibly rewarding. But as we're about to find out, has had its issues as well. Very personal ones, and so here I am now. Here
you are now.
Yeah.
So where did it start? It started with a...
It's around 2013 I started having my first real injury problems. I started suffering with back pain and sciatic pain, and it led me to end up having to have a surgery to take the disc off my nerves. It's just a normal discectomy, they call it. It was supposed to be very, very routine. No problem, they said. You get the disc off the nerve and you'll be fine. But unfortunately for me, it didn't go that way. It led to the collapse of my disc, where I had to have repetitive surgeries. I had 3 surgeries within I think it was a 6-week period, because I ended up getting a terrible infection through one of my surgeries, and that hospitalised me. So not only was I trying to recover from the back injury, I was now fighting this infection as well, and it kept me at home for about, if I think of it, was November, 3 months, 4 months. It was a tough time. But like any kind of guy who does what I do, I wanted to kind of prove that I could overcome this and get myself back, show everybody that this can happen, and I'll be all right, and I'll get back to normal. And kind of, I guess in some ways, went against doctor's orders to a degree, kind of got myself back to doing what I was doing very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. In hindsight, when I actually sit here talking to you about it, I can't actually believe what I did. But I did it, and I thought everything was okay, and I'd carry on, and I think for another kind of year or two, another year or two, and then eventually my spine collapsed again. So I'd had these 3 surgeries. I got myself back. I was doing all the races, doing everything, and then that familiar pain kind of came back, and I ended up having to go back in again, having my 4th surgery, where they said, we're just going to take a little bit more off, and they did, and then within weeks, it completely did, my whole lower back, or my discs degenerated, and I had to have a spinal fusion. Now within that time, that was again, I still had this kind of notion that, I've had this done, I can go. It was incredibly painful, to a point that again, when I look back at it, I can't believe that's kind of how it was, like what I went through. But I was almost, I don't know how to describe it. Was I in denial of it? Did I underplay it? Yeah, I think that's what I did. I think I was I never kind of realised the severity of what was going on, and so I had the fusion, and I came back to with that same thing, wanted to, right, I've had this done, I can come back again. You know, and through again, it was all me being me. Until I had a good couple of years, and it was all really good. And then we got to lockdown, and I was I can find my words. Sorry, it was lockdown. For the beginning of lockdown for me was kind of, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. It was, I used the opportunity to really get people together online, do the training, what so many people were doing, create all these little challenges. We were all training really well. It was this amazing experience that I had during that summer of 2020, because yes, we were stuck at home, but if you were of the type where all you wanted to do was be outside and either walk or train, it was we were very lucky. We were very, very lucky. But in that time, I had that feeling where something wasn't quite right, and I just kind of thought, nah, you know, I'm all right, but I better go and get it checked out. And when I went to see my consultant, I remember he's walked in and he's seen me. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "No, it's nothing. I've just got a bit of pain. I just want to get it checked out." And he's like, "No, okay, no problem." So we did that and had the MRI, and the disc above the one I'd already had done had completely come away again. It wasn't that bad at that point, but because of the nature of what had happened, I had to have another fusion straight away, and it was a really, really aggressive treatment. And I went into hospital in November 20 on my own for a week and had another fusion. And it was at this point kind of it was probably about as much as I could take, physically and mentally. I feel like I've missed an awful lot out here. I've kind of rambling on a little bit about what happened, my little story, but I was losing that fight. My body was continuously breaking down. I picked myself back up. I went down again. I picked up. I went down yet again, and I was exhausted. I was tired. There was also life going on around us. A series of events with family and close friends and things. Things weren't easy. But again, I just looked at it as I was just like any normal guy. It was, this is just what happens. But being in that time going in, and also when I was in the hospital, I came out and we went straight into that second lockdown, because we'd come out and gone back in, if you remember, and then the wheels really started falling off. It was, I think that at that time I realised that I remember if I just again jump back, I think I've missed something out quite important during the time of recovery of my series of recoveries from those first operations. I remember being exhausted all the time. It was just so tiring doing it. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm back in training. Of course it's tiring. I've got, at the time I had 2 kids, I've still got 2 kids. I said that. Yeah, I've got 2 kids.
But they were, you went say they were younger.
They were like little,
you had little kids.
Little kids, and obviously my wife Emma, and it was, there was a lot going on. So I just thought, no problem. But I remember going to see a very, very well-known doctor, and within our community particularly, and he sat me down. I told him what was going on, and he said, John, you might be suffering with a little bit of depression. And I was like, oh, come off it. I really was. I was like, of course I'm not. I'm an athlete. And, I'm running miles, riding miles, swim. I'm just tired. And he was, in fairness to him, he was really good about it. He said, okay, we'll do some blood tests and we'll just make sure everything's okay. Did the blood test, everything was okay. Of course it was, because I wasn't ill. I wasn't suffering with illness again. I was, but obviously mentally I was starting to unwind, and I didn't really know much about mental health at that time. It wasn't something that I ever thought was going to happen to me. And jumping forward back to November, December 20, and then January 21, that's when for me, when things really, I started to struggle. I really did start to struggle. And with that, it's hard to find the words and explain it in how it was, but it was, this kind of, I started to kind of not like who I was. I didn't really recognise the person I was looking at in the mirror. And from an honest point of view, am incredibly vain. So it's terrible, and everybody that watches this is gonna, he is. I was incredibly vain. So with not being able to train and do what I wanted to do, things changed. I was indulging, all of that kind of stuff. It was a complete kind of snowball effect of, where things just kept on going wrong. And then, but I had a job to do. I had a family to raise, and I hid behind it. I really did hide behind it, because I thought, I've got to get back, I've got to get fit, I've got to get back to work, I've got to start getting my training camps going, I've got to do this, all of that. And I did do all of that, and I powered through. But personally, I was just deeply unhappy and unsatisfied still. Even though I was training again, I wasn't training the way I wanted to. I was still suffering, I was still in pain. And then on top of that, my body started breaking down in other areas, and I started suffering with like ankle problems, Achilles problems, knee problems that were so painful. It was on a scale of how bad I felt with my back. So people say, what was the worst time? What was the hardest thing about all of that? It would always be the nights, when everyone else is asleep, and I'm sure many people out there can relate, but you're lying there wide awake in huge amounts of pain, wondering if it's ever going to end, and you're ever going to be getting back to being normal. And it was just really difficult. I mean, again, I'll go back to Emma, because she was unbelievable. She never ever kind of said you're crazy, you're mad. She held my hand, and did all those amazing supportive things that a loving wife does, which I'm obviously unbelievably grateful for. But it didn't matter that I had an amazing wife, it didn't matter that amazing kids. I have an amazing life. And what honestly was my problem? That's where I was at. What is wrong with you? Why are you feeling like this? What is your reason for being so unhappy? Why do you not like yourself? And within all of those things, I became incredibly angry, like internally, incredibly irrational. And I can look back and sit now, and I look at all these things, and I'm like, oh no, I look back at scenarios and things like, that's not good. The way I reacted, the way I may have behaved. Maybe people saw it, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I recognise it. I recognise it now. But because of what I do for a living, I had to crack on. I had to, because that's my job. So I developed this what I felt was this ability to hide in plain sight, and I just get on with it, smile, change. But I think people close to me, they knew. Some people may have still to this day never said anything. The people that I've spoken to about it, they were like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it was just, you tell the story of kind of, I got back up, which is what you've done, and it's amazing. And you're fighting fit and doing everything that you're doing. But I'm sure you still have your moments. I'm sure you still have your demons. I've got back up and got time again, but kept on getting knocked back down. I still am now. I'm still nowhere near where I wanted to be, but just realised that I couldn't continue the way I was. So eventually I did ask for help, and I've got some amazing people guiding me, helping me through, and just letting me know that you shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. Talk, because I can talk. That's not a problem. But you need to be honest with yourself and your experiences, and there's no shame in it. You know, I don't think I ever, you know, despite injury, I understand cause and effect. You know, I get it. Some people can be very lucky, others unlucky. But did I understand depression? Not in any way, shape or form. Not at all. You turn on TV, someone suffering from depression, they'd be like on their knees, like rocking backwards and forwards in the dark room. That was a lot of what I thought it was. And also, you may have heard of people, and there are people that unfortunately suffer so badly that they can't open their curtains in the morning and they stay in bed all day. That wasn't me. I was very fully functional. I was out there. I was getting on with it, but it was an internal battle. You know, those voices in your head kind of thing. It's very, very real and devastating. You know, and very self-destructive. You know, you are. You know, you can I can see how people can spiral out of control and end up hurting themselves and doing something. But you know, again, thankfully, it was never that. So yeah, here I am now, kind of telling you this story, which I feel, once again, as I said to you even before we started, I've been blabbing on and just talking, and I'm sure I've missed so many little bits out. But that's kind of a very kind of a version of what happened to me, and why I wanted to speak to you after seeing your amazing work was because I think what do I do for a living? I help other people achieve. You know, it happens to be through sport. And I love what I do, and I love helping people. So now that I've coming to terms with what's going on with me, I feel that by being here now, speaking to you and laying myself bare, if I can help one other person talk, and come out and say that it's okay, there's no shame in it. And don't get me wrong, there's still parts of me that are absolutely terrified. I'm speaking to you on a platform that's going to be put out there, and most people in my life I've not spoken to. But if it can help, if we can help, then that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and that's what I vow to do from my experiences. That it's not just about recovering from injury. There is so much more to what happens to us, whether it's sports injury, an accident, that leaves us in a very dark place. Not recognising the person that you were and that you now are, and what you have to continuously fight toward. That's kind of it.
It's definitely not recognising yourself in whatever aspect it is. For instance, when especially during the kind of the peak of my operations, I remember I'd look down at my legs, and they had scars on them. And I didn't recognise my own legs. And I was like, but these are my legs. But to look down at my own legs and just, I felt sorry for my own legs, like what I'd put them through, the scars that were now on them. And that was a really weird feeling for me. To look down at my own body and not feel it mine.
See, it's amazing that you say that. I mean, I'm not, it's for me, in that sense, I'm lucky. My scars are on my back. And I look like Freddy Krueger's had a go at me. I've got just claw marks down my back. But it's when I had my last surgery and they went through my side, and I remember taking the plaster off and seeing it and going and like saying to Emma, look what's happened to me, God, and she said, no, don't worry, it'll go away. Saying, look, it's just another scar, just like it looks awful, and it was weird, and I don't even know why I reacted like that, but I guess it's because I could see that reminder, right? You could see the reminder of what had happened, and. It's a horrible place to be, isn't it? 100%. It's just a lonely place. I think that feeling of you could be in a crowded room, you could be at a party, and everyone's having a good time, and you kind of wonder what the hell you're doing there. It's almost like an imposter syndrome. You know, it's like you don't feel like I think I definitely say I didn't feel belong in any area of my life. Which again is something when I say it out loud, it sounds mad. Like that's how I felt. Do I understand it? Not one bit. Not one bit. Not now. You know, and I probably won't tomorrow. But that's what it was like. You know, so it was. I mean, I'm shaking a little bit now because it's you know, it's haunting, isn't it? You know, and I think have I ever changed because of these experiences? Yeah, 100%. The thing is, I fought all that time to try not to, and it led me down a very, very dark path. You know, and I just hope continue working at it, continue fighting, and accepting my reality, and the fact that from an athletic point of view, you know, training has been my life, you know, and that's and not something I take lightly. You know, I'm not an elite athlete. I'm not. I wish I was.
I mean, just listen to say you are.
You can. I can't pull that off. But I've lived my life as close as I could. Through sport. And I don't know how to do anything else. So, and training is, for me, like so many out there, that's my release. That was my get away. That was my one thing, you know, and I love it with such a passion. To have gone through a period, again, jumping back over the last year particularly, where training became, a level of, like before I'd go out on the bike with the guys, the anxiety of not being able to perform the way I wanted to, going in the swimming pool. By the way, when you're suffering with kind of mental health issues, the swimming pool is not great for me. It wasn't great for me at all, because I found that an incredibly lonely place, because you're in your own head in the water. For me, that was really, I haven't been back in for months. You know, and it's still that's still something I've got to overcome. As a triathlete, it's kind of important. You want to know. So, but I ended up hating training, hating it. You know, I didn't want to train at all, and that was awful. And you know, but I kept on, I kept on going, and I kept on going. You know, you're sitting there, you got to go to the gym. John, go to the gym. You'll feel better for it. You'll feel better for it. It would take me an hour to get out of the house and get to the gym. You know, I'd come home from work and then go to the gym rather than go straight to the gym, which I'd normally do. It was it was mad, until my physio, who also an amazing person, was Chris, and he said, John, you've got to stop for your own good. You know, you're pushing yourself too hard physically, mentally. You know, he was aware of my situation as well. He said, you got to stop for your own good and just step back and then come back into it. That's only been the last few weeks, probably since I got home from holiday, and I'm back on the bike and riding with my friends and loving it again. And there's the other side of it. I've got to earn a living, so I need to be able to ride my bike. You know, and there is that side of it. You know, my passion and my profession are aligned, but you know, I'm not there yet. But that's saying, but I'm closer than I was yesterday, and I'm working really, really hard at it. I don't know what the future holds for me as an athlete. But and I have to accept whatever it is, but what I do know and what I have been told, and this again jumping back, there's so many things that have happened to me, and so many people that have looked at me or sat down with me that have said, no, you can't do this anymore, you should stop, you should do this, you should do that. Well, you can't. No, I don't accept that. No way, and nobody ever should, because I think you say more than me. What you had a horrific accident, really bad, where I know people said you're not going to be able to do this, you're not being able to do that. I've seen you in the gym, you're doing it, you know, and they tell me I would love to be able to do deep squats like you do. When you've got a fuse back, unfortunately, that is a no-go, you know, it really is. But, you know, there was so many people that said no, so many people say, what are you doing? The minute you fall into that, that's a very dangerous place to be, a really, really dangerous place to be, because, first of all, it's very easy for someone else to say no. And most people give, not most people, that's not fair, but then some people out there give you advice that they wouldn't even follow themselves. You know, so come on, you know, there's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way. The way may be different, but there is always a way to come back to doing what you love. You just have to be willing to adapt, willing to change the narrative. Because if you love something, you shouldn't just give it up because of an injury or someone telling you so. You know, the body's a very, very complex tool. It can recover if you want it to. If you want it to, you know, again, it won't be perfect. I'm certainly, what's perfect, right? No such thing. But you know, I will race again. I will race again. I'm not sure when, you know, but all I know is that I want to. And I made a promise to my son a couple of years ago, I've created a monster. He's a triathlete already. He's only 11 years old. He's already doing little races, and he said, "Dad, you promised me you'll carry on until we race together." So there's still a few years left in me, because that would just be the best thing in the world, to toe the line and then have my son kick my ass. Which is no doubt going to happen. But so yeah, I will be back. Yeah, that's it. And I will continue to fight and talk, and for anybody that's willing to listen, because I think what is the most important thing out of all of this, the injury you recover from. You know, you will recover from it. You work hard, but with mental health and that feeling of depression, you know, if you got to understand that you're not alone out there. Yeah. You know, there are people that can help you. Don't be embarrassed. You know, and that's so easier said than done, because I'm still hiding behind it in so many ways. Yeah. But you know, you can overcome it. Ask for help, and people will be there for you. Yeah. You know, they've been there for me. I have been the recipient of such amazing acts of kindness time and time again. I do feel the luckiest guy in the world. Yeah. You know, so just keep on pushing forward, keep moving forward, and good things can happen. Yeah. But you've got to want it, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to want it, and I think if you continue to tell yourself you want it, and you can continue to tell yourself that is what you're going to achieve. Yeah,
that's it. You have to have goals. Life is. I have, and a lot of people again would laugh at this. I have a very romantic view of life. You know, I think, you know, we're very, you know, you only got one shot. Yeah. You got to make it count. You got to go and live the life to the fullest that you can. Yeah. You know, embrace all the experiences, whatever it is, whether you love art or you love music or reading. You know, mine happens to be sport. Yeah. You know, and I'm determined, whether it's watching, playing, doing that, I will experience as much as I can until I can't anymore. That's it. So, because that's what living is, you know. But that's what you got to do, and I hope that I can continue through my old and now my new story, help people, you know, kind of speak up and achieve what they never thought possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it.
And it is that you have a story, and you can change your story's ending. Yeah. You know, you can see your story going one direction, and you might not like it. And that's the thing, if you don't like where you see it's going, you have your own ability to change your own story.
No, that's it. And I think, and if I do say one thing on this, is that my coach, my emotional intelligence coach, Jim Rees, you know, he's been amazing, and he's the first thing that he taught me was to stop standing in the way of myself. You know, he goes, you know, that you stop trying to kind of hide behind everybody else, do all things for other people, and be good to yourself. You know, and it's incredibly cheesy, you know. But it's right. You know, how can you continuously try and look after other people if you forget how to look after yourself? You know, and I think I definitely did that. You know, I was putting everybody else in front of how I was feeling. You know, and I don't regret that for 1 second. But I wasn't doing what was right for me. So, and understanding that to continuously help people, you need to look after yourself, physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach, and don't be afraid to ask for help. They're the two big lessons, right? Yeah.
So that's the kind of advice you'd give people.
I think so. I think so. Again, I don't have what's right, all the answers, of course. Yeah. But I think definitely be good to yourself. Look up. If you are worried about something, talk and don't. You can't do it alone. None of us can. It's being lonely is a terrible thing. And ask for help, because people will help you. There are very, very good people out there, despite what people think, and look at what's going on around us at the moment since the Queen passed, and what people are doing. There is great humanity out there. There really is, and but you can't expect it just to show up and knock on your door saying, "Do you need any help, mate?" It's because it's not going to. It's not. That's not the way it works. Not the way it works at all. So that I think that's kind of the message that I would give, and and try and pay it forward. Be there, listen, help. Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah. And what I found really interesting is when you obviously said it wasn't until you kind of accepted what was going on. You pushed it away for such a long time. So much longer than I realised. I think it does go back. I would say, looking at it now, almost 6 years. When I look back at who I was, and it was that first big fusion that I have been fighting to come back ever. Really, that was the real game changer. And when I look back at that and all that I've done and all that, you think, oh my God, it's wow. It's been a roller coaster. Yeah, it has been a roller coaster, and and with all of those things as well, I think as I did say, there were life as well. There was life going on around me. So there were points where I felt like it was coming in at all angles. And I didn't cope with that well at all. But I shouldn't have. I should have just said, I can't do this, or can you help me with that, or be honest with just how much pain I was in, rather than I'll be all right. I'll be all right. But inside I wasn't okay at all. And it's so long time. It's been a long time, that is my story. That led me. You can't change it, right? No. That's what happened. That's what happened, and I think a big thing to take from this is it is okay not to be okay. Absolutely, absolutely, and you got all the cliches out there, aren't there? There are so many that we've said throughout this talk, but it's true. It is okay not to be okay. Of course it is, because I think if you get to the cracks of it, you'll find that more people than aren't than are. I think that's it. I think when we were chatting at the club a few weeks ago, I think is suffering with mental health, even though it's come so far already. It's still a taboo subject. You don't sit. You're not going to sit there thinking, mate, you're going out to dinner with 3 other couples tomorrow night. So, how's everyone's headspace? What's going on with you inside? That's not how it works. It's not how it works. People, they really, really do struggle, and particularly now in the times that we're living in. People need help now more than ever, because it's really tough. It's really tough out there, with the world that we're living in, all that's going on around us. It all plays its role. It isn't just one thing. There's the catalyst, and then everything that goes with it. And I think for me, I didn't see it coming. So, I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm John. I'm strong. I do Ironmans. But that had nothing to do with it. That's nothing to do with it. And it's So hopefully, people will draw strength from this conversation, and we'll think, okay, like I did from
speaking to people initially, and then I'm sitting here now because I saw what you've done with people. That's, that's how it works.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's how it works, because I wouldn't have done it otherwise. There's no way I'd be sitting here now if I hadn't seen what you have done, your movement, your passion, so, as I said at the beginning, amazing. Amazing, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, that's cool.
Yeah. And just a disclaimer, when you said club, we're not the nightclub. We're at the same gym.
Same gym, yeah.
We are actually at the same gym. So, no, I mean, when you said club, I just thought to myself, people might think that's a nightclub.
Yeah, that Emma was the David Lloyd. Yeah,
at the same
David
gym.
Lloyd, at the same gym, yeah, so it's...
But it is definitely a very lonely experience. And when you said as well, hiding behind a smile, because I hid behind smiles for a long time, and which is, again, that's completely okay. And that's just the thing, is it's totally okay to do that, because when you go and do your everyday life, you sometimes don't want anyone to see.
No, when you lose your self-worth.
Yeah.
You don't think and sense of belonging, but and that you get it into your head that people don't care.
Yeah.
I definitely, did you feel like that at all? I felt that people didn't care. Obviously, my family cared. Of course they did. They're your family, But I just, I thought, what does anybody want to know how I'm thinking and feeling about? They haven't got time for this.
Yeah.
They said if you put everyone's problems into a bowl, you soon take out your own. Right, that's it. It's so what, they didn't need to hear it. I didn't have any confidence or faith in speaking to people. Trust was a big thing as well, still is. And it makes me sad that I don't have that as well. I wish I was a little bit more trusting, but I'm still not. It's but yeah, it's all of that. It's that loneliness and self-worth. It's a weird thing, isn't it? To feel like that. And again, it goes back to some of the things that we said about. Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. I completely lost my train of thought there. Cut that out.
No, that's fine. But what I was gonna say was, now I'm losing my train of thought. No, what I was gonna say is about when you don't think people want to hear, and you said, did I go through it? And then I did think to myself, did I? And there were times around the operations. And when would have friends messaging me going, how are you today? And I would say, yeah, I'm doing fine. I mean, I was on the couch, not moving my legs. Probably I wasn't fine, but it got to a point where I didn't want to keep telling them if I was in pain, and people kept telling me how positive I was. And I was telling myself how positive I was, and then weeks would go by, and then I just kept crashing, and then I'd go up again, and then because I was just maintaining, trying to stay positive.
And it's exhausting doing that, because it's the same. And again, particularly around the surgeries, everybody was amazing friends and clients. The gifts and it's fantastic.
Got loads.
Alcohol. It is amazing. I haven't developed a full-on drinking problem, but but the support is there. Of course it's there, and it brings you up. But if you don't tell people how you're really feeling, that crash down, the adrenaline rush. People are, they're asking and stuff, but I'm fine. But no, I'm dying here. This is really hurts, and it really, really hurts, and I can't even put my socks on. That
I had that.
When Emma was putting my socks on for me every day, it was horrible. Of course, but you don't tell people the stuff. You don't talk about that, the day-to-day stuff, the things that that you I guess take for granted from a physical standpoint. I can't flex a certain area of my spine, and never will be able to do it in the same way again. again, putting shoes and socks on, like, I can do it myself now. So I got like that, I'm right. But it's a struggle, you know, and I do laugh about it because I have to lift my left leg higher up than my right leg to get my sock on. But that's the damage that whether I've done it to myself or not, doesn't matter. That's what's happened. So it's no, you don't tell people that. You don't. You know, it's I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
It's interesting you said that because I remember after the first operation and when I couldn't walk, because that just took me back as well, because I hadn't thought about when I couldn't put my shoes and socks on until just now actually. And I remember the first day I was able to get my own shoe on my own. I slipped it on. I couldn't do the laces, but I slipped it on my own. And it was the most amazing feeling. It was the most amazing feeling. I did put my own shoes on my own.
It's relief, you know, and things like, you know, there's all of it is at that point with injury. I think if you said there's what kind of message can I say, with everything that I've been through with pain wise, I really struggle to see people suffer. I can't. Listen, any decent human being wouldn't want to see anybody suffer anyway, but of course, but you know, seeing people in pain, particularly in my job, it can be quite common. You know, people are pushing through all the time. You know, some of it is a necessary evil to get fitter, but when you've hurt yourself and you've got a problem, don't ignore it. You know, because little becomes big very, very quickly, and don't think you're an exception to the rule. You know, that's a mistake that I think we all make at times. That it will never happen to me, and I've said that a few times today, and it's happened twice. Again, at this moment now, I realise I said it from a physical point of view that I'll be all right. You know, I didn't probably take it seriously enough, or didn't want to, and then the knock-on effect of that was suffering with mental health issues and depression, and you know, it will never happen to me. How could it happen to me? It is, you know, and it's so that's to say, don't ignore the signs. It's okay to ask for help, and it's not you're not being brave by hiding behind pain in any way, shape or form. You're in pain. It's your body telling you there's something wrong. You don't have to pretend it's not happening, because I think eventually it will lead you into a place you don't want to be. No matter who you are. You know, no matter who you are. None of us are exceptions to the rules. You know. Yeah,
and I think that's the thing is you will always think in some ways you are invincible, and it is for anything, whether it is a physical, you know, something that happens physical, or if it's mental health or anything, you never think it's going to be you. For instance, you know, I rock climb, I snowboard, I ski, I hike mountains. I fell off a scooter and I hit a bus. But my point was I do all those other things. Never in my life did I think it would happen. That would happen on a scooter.
No, that's it.
And that's the thing. It is one of those things where you're right. You don't ever think it's going to be you, but you are invincible, but you're not invincible. It's good to feel like you are in a healthy, certain way.
Absolutely. I think it comes down for don't take any of it for granted. You know, I think that's the important thing is that, you know, be careful. You know, be careful. Think about what you're doing and what you're doing to yourself, because things can happen. You know, and they can happen. I think. Listen, at the blink of an eye, and I think anybody that's listening to this will be able to relate to that exact point. You know, that things do happen. You know, to people. So why, if it happens to other people, why can it not happen to you? You know, and that's be mindful. Be very mindful of that, and I think we'll all be better for it. I hope. I've got a lot of hope. With that.
But it's good to have hope.
Absolutely. You know,
I think go on.
No,
I was going to say, and especially with regards to your journey so far, to have hope is yours is a complete roller coaster, and it is a sense of you got back up and then you kind of went down again, and I think that almost just it kind of shows what life is and what life can be. You can be up high, but you can go back down.
Absolutely. I remember when I got signed off with my back for the fight, what I pray is the final time, you know, because I live in fear. There's no doubt about that with that particular aspect of my body, because there's still stuff that can, you know, God forbid, but it's and I remember saying to my consultant, Mr. Lee, as I walked out the door, I said, can you answer me one question? And he said, yeah, of course. I said, did I do this to myself? I said, am I to blame for what? And he just said, listen, you do what you do. But he put his hand on my shoulder and said, you're honestly one of the unluckiest blokes I've ever met. So, you know, there was a little bit of peace that came over me with that. And I was really grateful that he said that to me, because I did think that it was all down to me. You know, I have a condition, you know, it's a congenital back condition, so that I probably should have said that, you know, but there is there. So would it have been as colourful? Probably not. You know, I didn't help myself. But was something going to happen? Yes, it was. You know, that's it. Unfortunately, my mother suffers as well, so it's a thing, right? You know, but that was cool. You know, you know, just having someone that just at the time felt so good. You know, and it was only a year ago, just over a year ago. When I was feeling very, very low, that was a very, very good point for me. You know, just ease that pain a little bit of, you know, of that. How would you describe it when you just kind of beating myself up? You know, what have I done? You know, there's what have I done? What's wrong with you, idiot? You know,
but people do beat themselves up.
They do.
I beat myself up after my own accident.
Yeah. Did you blame yourself?
I beat myself up in the sense that I remember being on the side of the road. I had just had the accident. I was on the side of the road. There were people all around me, and I remember looking down at my legs because I knew I'd done something to my leg. I knew. I just knew.
You know, yeah.
There was no scratches, no blood, nothing. I just knew.
Was there not?
No.
It was all internal.
I had one scratch on my foot, and it was like the size of.
You got hit by a bus.
I didn't even tear my trousers. I had trousers and they didn't even tear.
That's ridiculous.
I had a little bit of like gravel on them. That was it.
No.
That was it.
Wow.
I had a tiny little, like the size of like smaller than the nail on my pinky finger, of a cut on my foot.
But you knew you couldn't get back up.
But I knew there was something wrong with my knee.
Wow.
Or my leg even. But my point was I remember sitting there just telling myself I was an idiot.
Yeah.
I just remember being like, you are such an idiot. Beating myself up. I just had the accident and just saying, I was so cruel to myself.
Yeah.
So just saying, you are such an idiot, Talia. You're such an idiot, Talia.
No.
Why did you have to do this? You were having, you know,
you're having a great time.
Life was good. Why did you do this?
That's it. And I'd imagine that's incredibly common, particularly with accidents. I think for me, I didn't have that type of experience, because it was everything that I did, there was a series of events that led to that outcome. And again, picking up things like infections and stuff. Unfortunately, that happens. I guess that's where the bad luck comes in, you know. But it happens, But how could you? I can't compute that. Yeah.
It was, and that's what and I think probably people do go through that as well. You know, something has just happened, and you sit there and you say to yourself, "I am such an idiot for doing that." But it's like, it happened, and then you start to think, had I have not X, Y, Z, but it happened.
You played the scenario back a million times,
and you can't tell yourself you were an idiot, because you're literally telling yourself negative things.
Yeah, that's it. I think when I look back to my situation at the beginning. When my consultant said, "Don't rush," they never said don't. They never said at that point stop. They said don't rush. I can hear that now. I can hear it almost 10 years later. I think I mentioned it to my mate Craig a few weeks ago, maybe even last week. You know, take your time, and it will be okay. No, I've got to come back. I've got to show people. You know, that was very much. Kind of my but there was no I think now I went through a period of blaming myself for the latter stuff, but not the early stuff. I thought that's why I asked the question, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know I'm sorry that's how you felt. It was an accident.
It's
accidents happen, but again, I can't imagine what that must have been like for you.
Yeah.
Really, you didn't walk for 10 weeks.
Yeah, for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to put pressure on my left leg for 10 weeks.
No, wow, that's mad.
Yeah, it was but that's the thing is the adjustments I had to make to just my everyday tasks, like getting a glass of water.
Life changing. They are life changing things, and like debilitating injury at any level is life changing, and no matter what anybody thinks, it changes a lot forever. It does. You can't. And that's accepting that as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my limiters are definitely there. And although I won't stop, I do accept the fact. Or I don't want to stop. You're saying I want to carry on and race. Going to say I do accept the fact that I don't think I'm going to be one of these guys that's running marathons at 70. My body's not going to do that. And that was upsetting at the time. Yeah. I wanted to go on for as long as I can. I wanted to race in every continent in the world. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, but no, I've been grounded. I've been grounded. Reality check. Yeah. Just appreciate what you can do and make the very, very best of it. Yeah. So it's it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Is there anything else you want to touch upon?
Well, I'm sure there is. I'm quite comfortable with this now. No, I hope that my message has been clear, and again, I'm very grateful that you're hearing my story and then putting it out there. But I think it's just that kind of just be good to yourself, and ask for help if you need it, because that what's that feeling that we can't do it alone. No one can do it alone. Don't that would be the big thing for me to say to anybody out there that if you need help, please ask for it, because you don't want to get into a place where it's too late. Anything can happen. So don't underestimate it. If that sounds right. I hope.
Yeah, no, of course it does.
Yeah. So no, that's it. Yeah.
And I actually really do appreciate you coming to me to say that you wanted to do this. So. It's been brilliant. Good. It's been brilliant. I wish you all the success in the world. I've no doubt that this is going to just get bigger and better for you. Thank you. Thank you. But that's the thing. It's people like you, for instance, who, we go on with our everyday, and you, like you said, you saw what I was doing. Yeah, that's it. And I think with certain things, particularly the young lady who came to you to talk about kind of her anorexia, which was unbelievable and incredibly brave of her. But we are ordinary people. And this happens to ordinary people. It doesn't just happen to elite level athletes or actors or musicians. Normal everyday people can suffer these problems. You don't have to be famous and then to suffer, and it does happen. And I'm a middle-aged family man. that's it. That's what I am. That has a tremendous lust for life and passion for what he does. And so, and if anybody ever feels that being taken away from them, that's the time. You've got to get out and reach out, and people will help you. Exactly. Definitely. Exactly. It is definitely reaching out. And remembering that you are not alone. That's it. Absolutely. Cool. Well, I will see you in the gym soon. I look forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's actually one of the first questions we asked when you turned up today was, "Have you trained today?" And I was like, "No, have you trained today?" No, not yet. Not yet. We both said not yet. Not yet. And then we both went, maybe we might today. It's Friday. It's a difficult one. Not yet. No. But well, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. And thank you. Very grateful. Thank you.